Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I'm not going to be on here long because it's kind of late, but I wanted to do this while I was thinking about it. I wanted to give a quick review of the movie Hidden Figures. I just saw it at the theater, and I'm in LA, and so I saw it kind of late on East Coast time. That's why if it's 5 a.m. where you are, I still haven't gone to bed yet. What's going on? How you doing? I see I got some night owls here with me on Twitter. Someone says, "Morning, do you sleep?" Actually, Padula, I sleep more than most people do. Actually, I'm a big believer in naps. I think naps are the best way to be happy. The world would be a better place if people took more naps. Daft Money's in London. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Good morning here in New York. Okay, and Philly Feline, early birds on the east. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. You thought it was an error. Yeah, you're a graveyard worker. I know, right? So anyway, somebody says they can't see and hear me. I'm sorry you can't see and hear me. I hope you can hear me. Anyway, so I want to tell you guys about the movie and what I saw and what I thought. The movie, as you know, it just came out. It has Janelle Monáe, Taraji P. Henson, and Octavia Spencer. And the movie is all about some sisters that were able to play, important roles at NASA during the space race. So I was really interested in the movie. One, because I, support and respect Black women. And somebody says, Boyce, you inspired me and my family to start a business. Very nice. Well, I hope that everybody is inspired to start a business. Every Black family should have a family business. Every Black family should have a family bank. All a bank is a pile of money that you have available to make loans to each other, to make investments in each other, things like that. So every family should have that. I'll talk about the movie. I'll tell you about that before I lose my train of thought. So, I want to see the movie because I like Black people. I respect Black women. And then two, I'm also fascinated with space, the space race. I know all about it in detail in terms of, the fact that the Germans had the first rockets, and Werner von Braun from Germany, he was a Nazi who actually was one of the leaders in the NASA space program. And part of the reason the Russians got a man into space sooner than the Americans did was because they didn't use von Braun the way they should have. And so I watched entire documentaries about it, read stuff about it. I just think it's really interesting stuff. But anyway, I was really curious to see what these Black women had done, and I thought it was a well done story. The movie was very good. It's very very entertaining, and I don't have any criticism of what they were seeking to do with the film. It was a very good movie about Blackness based on what most people know about being Black. Right? Most of us think about our Blackness in terms of integration and civil rights. And somebody's asking, am I skeptical of the moon landing? Yeah, I am. I mean, if we allegedly went to the moon in 1968 and we can't go back now, whatever makes us think that we did it in the first place? It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so I thought it was great. I thought it was really good. But I think that the challenge that we have to kind of figure out as Black people is, I think that we sort of when you see a Hollywood film like this and you look at it with a critical mind, you become a little bit, it becomes a little strange and awkward with the fact that every movie about Black accomplishment usually involves a white hero. There's usually a white person that the audience can identify with, who, sort of serves as the person who, was ahead of his time and was able to, open the door for Black people, right? Because Black people were trained to kind of see opportunity as something that is not something that we can create for ourselves, but something that is given to us by a white person, right? That's how we see opportunity. If white people don't give it to us, then we don't have it, right? If a white man does not give you the chance to do your skill, whether it's math or fashion or whatever, then you believe that you've not been given the right to do fashion or to do math. And that's not healthy thinking. That's not where you want to be, because what you're doing is you're volunteering yourself to be in a trap, right? And so this whole idea of sort of looking at integration as this sort of process that where Black just black success, black progress as a race is defined by closeness to white people is a real problem. So when we say, oh, we made progress because we finally got a black person in that department filled with white people, you don't see white people saying that we will only have progress if we get in a white person in that department that's filled with black people, right? White people don't define their progress by whether or not we accept them. They don't define their limitations or their possibilities based on whether or not we give them opportunities. But they expect us to see them that way. And so what occurs is that black people are kept as children. As I was reading in Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth, one of the things he talks about is how for 250, 300 years, the goal, the doctrine was to keep black people as a reliable workforce, but a passive and uncompetitive workforce, right? That basically they were there to support white supremacy, but they're not there to actually have any real power to actually compete with white men. And so effectively, there was a scene in the movie that was really interesting where Taraji walks in this room. She's a brilliant mathematician, smarter than all the white guys. And they finally, oh my God, they let her in the room where they're watching the spaceship launch, right? And she's just floored. It's like this magical moment. They start playing the violins or whatever, because it's like this moment of tremendous achievement for her as a black person, as a black woman, to get into this room and to pretty much do the same job that's been done by thousands of white men before her. I mean, for the white men, it wasn't. I mean, it was maybe they were excited to be there, but they didn't sort of say, well, this is the first of my race. I'm the first of my kind to ever get a chance to be in this room. But for her, it was like some sort of monumental moment, when really the fact that people like her had been kept out for so long was really a reflection of the mental illness of the whites that had control of that environment. Racism is not your problem. Racism is white people's problem. You are not the ones who had people that spent hundreds of years castrating other people, hanging them and lynching them and taking your kids to the lynching like it's a family picnic. You didn't do all of that. So this idea somehow you've progressed because you've gotten the demons to finally accept you. And when I'm talking about I'm a white supremacist, anybody who supports white supremacy, for the most part, I mean, that's a demonic kind of thing. That's evil. That's horrible, right? So you're sort of defining your progress by your proximity to the very same horrible people who spent their time hating you, trying to kill you, degrading you, mistreating you, right? And I don't consider that progress. If you get raped by somebody, is it progress for you to get your rapist to like you? If a bully's beating you up at school every day, is that progress when you finally get the bully to want to be your friend? No. It's progress when you get that son of a bitch beat down and locked up. It's progress when you get the hell away from the rapist or the bully. You don't want to get closer to that person. So to me, when you look at the sick, toxic nature of that culture at that time, and it's not their fault. I mean, it was conditioning. Black people are conditioned to be very passive. Again, they put this in. I know somebody says you're looking into it too deeply. I'm sorry, I can't help but to be deep. I'm always deep because the meaning of everything is deep. The shallow shit is what they feed you. The shallow shit is what's going to make you feel good. The shallow shit is what they want you to focus on. The shallow is what lets them get away with very deep, insidious oppression. Do you understand? So they want you. It's like, I want you to see the shallow because you won't catch the deep. But the deep is where all the action's happening. That's where it's going. Just like your brain, the human mind. Did you know that the human brain has more than a zettabyte of processing capability? And that's more processing power than all the computers on Earth combined. So on your brain, you literally have a supercomputer on top of your head. That's how deep and powerful your mind is. And the thing about the mind is that most of the power of your mind is not something that you are aware of. It's not your conscious mind. It's the subconscious. The subconscious mind is the part that makes you go to sleep and have a dream where you're watching this whole movie that's created in your brain and you had nothing to do with it. You're like, why did I just have a 2-hour, 3-hour dream about butterflies, riding on top of horses, playing basketball? Like where did this come from? That all came from you. So my point in that, and bringing that up, is to say that it's the deep shit that actually shapes everything. The subconscious is what shapes your reality. So if you're only looking for the shallow, then yeah, you should probably, you shouldn't be here. This is not for shallow people. I don't talk to shallow people. I'm not talking about shallow things. I'm not a shallow person. The truth is that the deep stuff is where the interesting stuff is lying, right? You don't look at just what they did. Think about why they did it, right? So when I watch this movie, I see the beautiful imagery. I saw Taraji, the acting was great, script was great, imagery was great, music was great. But then the structure of the film itself, in terms of having the white hero, that's kind of standard in a lot of movies like that. I'm not being critical. I'm just being honest. This idea of black progress being correlated with proximity to white people. That's another trend I picked up. Also, there was a sort of this underlying tone of kind of like persuading black women to kind of, sort of feed into this attraction to white males. They sort of threw that in there too, with the girls kind of flirting with the astronauts, which again is fine. I'm not judging it. It just is what it is. I think there's a consistent campaign to undermine the perception of the black man by telling black women that black men are garbage and they're not good enough for you, that you deserve better, right? Look at your men. All your men are in prison. They don't ask why they're in prison. They don't talk about white supremacy and how white supremacy put all these black men in prison. They just want to make it as if black men have a cultural failing, that they're losers. When the fact of the matter is that if you understand history, when you read books like this, like Dr. Anderson's book and others, you find that there has been a consistent doctrine for 300-400 years to keep black men in a childlike position. Again, when you talk about who gets opportunities in corporate America, whatever the case may be, this is why I tell all black men, you got to get the hell out and go start a business. You can learn how to play basketball. You can learn how to start a company. You can learn how to rap. You can learn how to start a business. Because the fact is that historically, when you look at the data, white males who control corporate America don't tend to hire heterosexual black males. They don't tend to hire intelligent, assertive, confident black men who will compete with them. They do what other animals do. Other animals, all throughout the animal kingdom, every mammal on this earth, pretty much when they get around competition, they kill the competition. So the white male, typically, just like the black men would probably do the same thing. This ain't really a racism thing. This is a power, and this is a power variation issue, or a what's the word? A power asymmetry issue, right? So it's not so much saying that they're bad because of this. It's just the truth. So the white males tend to want to hire people that are attractive to them or non-threatening to them. So black women are attractive. They're beautiful. They're very nice, very sexy, whatever. And so the black woman will get those opportunities that a black man usually won't get. Somebody says sometimes you be tripping. Boyce, this is one of those times. Well, then get the fuck out of here if you don't agree. I mean, go assimilate. Go hang out with white people. They maybe they'll finally decide they love you. I don't really care if you think I'm tripping. Like Chris Rock said in Hollywood, if you're gay or you're feminized, then you're going to get certain opportunities in Hollywood. If you are a black man with, as he said, with a goatee and bass in your voice, there's certain opportunities you won't get. In fact, did you know this? There was a study I saw that said that, what was it? It said that the only group of people in America who make the same amount of money in corporate America as white men are gay black men. Gay black men. And that's not a coincidence. The fact of the matter is that a lot of times for a lot of men, competitive men, a lot of men will allow people in if they feel some sort of, again, if the person is either non-threatening, meaning weak, or if they are somebody they can have sex with. If they, a lot of times it's about who they fucking, who they trying to fuck, right? So, going all the way back to the plantation, there were spaces a black woman could get into that black men could not. And in fact, with black men, if the stronger you are, the more they want to kill you, the more they want to eliminate you. My homeboy went to prison. Yurima Karama went to prison for 23 years on a little petty gun and drug charge back in the day. And Yurima said that when they were in prison, these guards would have Nazi stuff or whatever, or white supremacist stuff tattooed on their arms. And he said that they would say stuff to him like, to the black men, they'd say, well, you know why y'all in here? We are here fucking your women, right? And it's really a kind of a dominating, intimidating tactic that men use against other men. So that's why I say to black men, you got to be prepared to compete. You've been trained culturally for hundreds of years to not be ready to fight, to not be ready to stand up for yourself, to not try to be the best. You're kind of trained to put yourself in the corners and the shadows and the margins. It doesn't work for you. It makes you look weak. The women don't. The women are ashamed of you sometimes. Not all of y'all. Not all of y'all. But y'all know who you are. You know you. But a lot of times it's because you don't know any better. You were never trained to be in a position to compete and actually excel relative to the rest of the world. So I think every black boy, especially, has to be taught to have his own business. There's no group of people in America, statistically, there's no group that's more unemployed than the black male. The black males have consistently, all throughout American history, had the highest unemployment rate in the country. And it ain't just because all of y'all are stupid. No, that's not true. A lot of you are hardworking. A lot of you went to school. A lot of you have the credentials and still can't keep the damn job. But white supremacy plays with your head. White supremacy makes you think that it's your fault that you ain't got the job because you're not perfect. Because I don't care who you are, though. You look at anybody's resume close enough, you can find something that they're not perfect at. You look at anybody's job history close enough, you can find something that they didn't do right. And so you go around blaming yourself sometimes for something that was created in a system. But here's where you can take responsibility. You can take responsibility by letting go of this idea that you have so much faith in that system that you're going to put every ounce of your integrity and dignity and masculinity in the hands of that system. You should not depend on a white supremacist system to give you your dignity. You shouldn't. You can't look to white folks to give you whatever you need to feel good as a human being. No disrespect to them. They can be who they want to be. I'm not hating on nobody. I'm just saying I don't depend on my oppressor to tell me that I'm somebody. I don't look to my oppressor to tell me I'm smart. If I wait around for white folks to tell me that I'm a good scholar, that I'm a smart scholar, I'll be waiting my whole goddamn life. Do you understand this? I look to black folks to tell me if I'm doing right by black people. And really, I can't even look to all black folks because you got some black people out here who are deeply committed to white supremacy, not because they're choosing this, but because they've been trained this way. Some people can't escape the brainwashing. It ain't never gonna. They're gonna keep trying to solve the same problems in the same way. They're gonna fail over and over and over again. They're gonna live in a loop, live life in a loop, where all we do. Pay attention, people. Pay attention. I want you to watch in movies and shows how often you see black people complaining about their condition, complaining about the fact that white people won't help them fix this 400-year-old problem. That's what we do. We complain. We pass down this complaint thing. And people feel like you're making progress when you complain. Like, oh yeah, that's right. You tell them, well, you know, we've been going through it all, Lord, and we just keep on loving America despite the fact that we have gone through hell. We live in the neighborhoods that y'all won't even drive through, and we have the jobs that you wouldn't take in your worst nightmares, and we go to the worst schools, and it's always been bad for us. You know, and that's that kind of rhetoric. People cheer it on because we think that that's all we can do. We don't really sort of think that maybe you walk away from that shit. Maybe after you've been abused and mistreated long enough, maybe you're supposed to actually do something about it other than complaining to the very same people who support the system that created all this in the first place. You know, I mean, you go to everywhere from the public school system to corporate America to universities to government to Hollywood, to the highest levels of politics, whatever, you see the same shit. Black people complaining about the way white people are treating them. So, I mean, it's abundantly clear that the system's not fair. So why are you overcommitted to that system? Why are you waiting for that system to save you? Well, a lot of times the reason you're waiting is because you don't think that you have any alternative. You know, and all I'm here to tell you is that you do have an alternative. You always have an alternative. You know, when you talk about, you know, building and creating, I mean, you know, opportunities are not something that that white people just give you. Opportunities are something you can create for yourself. And that's what I want you to understand. You know, when you raise your kids and talk about opportunity, we tell them, look, don't you worry about sitting around waiting for somebody to do something for you that you can figure out how to do for yourself. You know, and that's it. I mean, you know, not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur or whatever it is that you got to be. But sometimes that's what you got to do. Sometimes, you know, if ain't nobody going to bring you no glass of lemonade, you need to get you some water, some sugar, some lemons, and make that shit your damn self. You know, you can learn. It takes just as much energy to learn how to make a glass of lemonade as it takes to go beg for a glass of lemonade. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So anyway, all right. So, okay, I see you. Is that a troll? Man, please. All right. Anyway, I'm done. Okay. So I'm gonna get out of here. Don't forget we have our stock market investing class. We meet on Monday If you're interested in that program or any other, you can go to blackfinancialliteracy.com. That's blackfinancialliteracy.com. If you are on social media, please feel free to share this. Invite your friends. I'm about to go to bed because it's kind of late. And don't forget, tell your kids, have your family members read Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. It's the best book ever written. And it explains racism from beginning to end in terms of how America came to be what it is right now, and how economics really drove your enslavement. So I believe, well, the same way economics drove your enslavement, economics can also be part of what drives your liberation. But you also have to be liberated in the mind, which is why I run into a lot of black folks that give resistance. And I understand. I used to feel this. I used to think the exact same way maybe 15 years ago before I actually really got educated on this stuff. So anyway, I'm about to get out of here, guys. So take care and have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace.